It's Mind Crypto here, and today what I'm going to talk about is a little bit about what's going on with regards to everything that we're experiencing within the cryptocurrency market and where we are. Now, obviously crypto has been in its infancy for a long time. Now we're entering a new age of crypto. And what I mean by a new age is it's growing, it's maturing. Now, many of you have probably been in crypto for quite some time. I've probably been in it for the last, 5 years, sort of understanding and working my way through all the information and seeing what the differences are. My focus now is on ISO20022 coins. Now, many people will say you should avoid those coins because they're connected to the WEF, the World Economic Forum. But I have a different take on that, to be fair. We've moved away from, an infant phase of crypto, the crypto market. And what I mean by that is that with anything, there's always sort of, putting your toe in. When we look at blockchain and how it's developed over the years, it's definitely up the last 10 years, definitely in its infancy phase, and it's not being used correctly, I don't think. And there's been a lot of misallocation of money into coins that really have no use case at all in the real world. Whether that be Shiba Inu, whether that be Dogecoin, whether that be, any of the coins, to be fair. And there's a lot of coins out there that, and meme coins that are basically useless. And this is why a lot of the experts out there believe that 99% of the cryptocurrency is probably going to disappear over the next few years. And I completely agree with that, with the sentiment that is currently taking place. So with that in mind, there's a massive divide taking place right now. As crypto begins to mature, it's beginning to be used in the way that it was intended, which is to provide storage, processing. We think of Overledger, on-demand liquidity, we're thinking of Quant, we're thinking of XRP, and all of those ISO coins, whether it be one of my favorites, IOTA, the Internet of All Things, and we've got HBAR, we've got LCX, there's loads that are a part of that. What I believe the incoming regulations that are going to take place, I think it's probably at the end of March, we're going to see some big shifts. And obviously with the implementation of XRP across the world, other than in the USA at the moment, because obviously the case that's taking place with regards to the SEC. Now, my take on this is that if you look at I come from a psychological background, and I look at some of the basis of psychology and how that affects how people trade. Now, if we look at a Stoic model and use that as our sort of premise, because obviously being one of the earliest models, I believe in philosophy as well as underpins most of current psychology nowadays. We have a crypto divide right now, and you either accept the fate of crypto regulation, and it's going, whether it be coupled with the WEF or you're going to be controlled and all the rest of it. Well, you've got a choice. You can stick with your non-user case coins, tokens, or you can step over. I know that's a big gulp there, because obviously most people will look at that and think, well, you're playing with the opposition, or some people call it the enemy. But I call it being clever and having savvy, making the choice to either be essentially poor, or jumping on the bandwagon and essentially effectively being led. I don't want to be at the position where UBI, universal basic income, comes in and I'm not leveraged. And this is what I'm talking about. You can either be a slave to the system, or you can get above it and keep your opposition closer. The governments and the banks will lead us. That's effective. That's they always control. You're never going to beat the man. And if we look at the Bitcoiners, Bitcoin maxis, Bitcoin essentially has no use case. There's no utility other than being decentralized, but there are other coins that are moving towards that with utility. You can either be someone that is completely stubborn and, you know, keep looking at this market in the way that you're doing, or you can be someone that thinks, well, I'm going to be clever, I'm going to leverage myself within the coins that are going to have business user case. You know, those ISO coins, you know, whether it be Quant, whether it be XRP, XLM, LCX, ALGO, you know, the list goes on in regards to the network, and there's so much information out there that we should look at. Now, this little image here I use within my work, and you see there's a cart and a horseman pulling two dogs, one dog being resistant on its back, not enjoying the journey, and then you got the dog on its feet, you know, leashed up, being pulled, but accepting the fate of the journey, which is the banks are going to lead us. We don't really have a choice, and that's acceptance, and that is also foresight. You know, sometimes we have to control what we can control and let go of what we can't, and letting go of, you know, the resistance, you know, and showing some acceptance. At least that way you're accepting that these things we're not going to get away from the banks taking control, but what we are accepting is that in itself. And therefore, once you accept that, you'll find life being a little bit easier, other than constantly fighting and being dragged along. And this is what this explains, or at least it's trying to, as an analogy of explanation. You know, and I think that control what you can control, which is your emotions. That's the control you have. That's responsibility you have within this market. And, you know, you're going to need that when things do go parabolic, you know, and certain coins do end up being, you know, the glue between the CBDCs. So, you know, at some point you're going to have to cash out, and it's understanding those emotions and understanding where you are within those emotions. So this is why I think, you know, now's the time. Everything is dirt cheap, and if you are looking to make a play in this market, then now would be the time. I mean, again, this is not financial advice. This is just logic in my eyes. Many people are, you know, still holding on to those coins that I believe are going to probably have one more run. I think Bitcoin will have one more run. But we've got to make a choice. Yeah, either fight against the system and be a slave to it, or you can embrace it and go along with the journey and be that person, even though that you're not going to be completely in control, but we accept that. But you're going to be someone where you're going to make from this. You're going to, you know, I suppose it's exploiting the situation in some ways, but it's making those good choices that I'm talking about. So this is a choice. You know, you can control what you can control and let go of those things that you can't, which is probably one of the fundamental principles of Stoicism, and accept that we are going to be led. But I'd rather be led and, you know, make wealth changing money than be angry at the system and try and fight it and end up with nothing. Guys, that's a choice you've got. And this is what I'm trying to state here within this message on Twitter. You can check it out. It's on my crypto on Twitter. So the crypto divide. You either accept the fate of crypto regulation, which is ISO20022, where the gov and bank lead us, or you can just kick and scream and miss a major opportunities by being blind. Because it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. So, the choice is yours. Please like and subscribe either to my Twitter or my YouTube, and please share, because obviously it helps. And the commenting as well, because it helps with the algorithm, so more and more people will get to see these types of videos in the future. Again, thank you very much. All the best.